All right. Little Elton John. I love it. Philadelphia Freedom. So let me go ahead and stop the music, but want to welcome everybody to our Facebook Live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Karen and I are coming live to you from the Renaissance.
Elizabeth, New Jersey.
We are actually in a hotel. So I am in our room. Karen has found an empty meeting room in order to do the Facebook Live. We're going to be flying out to Florida today, and that's a perfect actually segue into our topic today. So welcome to Facebook Live, and you're either seeing this in our Facebook group, which is the place to be for all coaches who really want to do a deeper dive into coaching, and as well as on my personal Facebook group. So welcome from whatever way that you're coming in. Karen and I are happy to be here on this Friday.
And we're glad you found us.
That's right. So today we're going to talk about freedom and coaching, right? So some of you watching this are coaches. Some of you are just like, hey, what are you guys up to? And I'm going to check into it. But basically, we're going to talk about how do you connect freedom and coaching. This topic is inspired from our inner circle. So we have an inner circle call where the in crowd of no BS coaches get together to be able to talk about different topics. We have a discussion about how to coach. What does it mean? Who are you in relationship as a person to the topic? Then the next week we go into coaching and giving feedback on coaching questions and skills and techniques. And then the third session of the month is where Karen or I coach, and then we talk about how that goes. So in Monday's call, it was a new month, and we are talking about freedom. It got us thinking, how does this apply for this particular group of people? So we want to talk about how do you connect freedom and coaching. So give us a shout out. If you're here, go ahead and say hello and where you're from so we can see who's on this call live with us. And the first question that we're really going to ask of Substance is going to be, in what way have you found the connection of freedom and coaching?
So, it's funny, Jen, when you say that, there's so many things that pop up for me for that, not just the freedom in coaching, but like just what we're doing right now. Okay, granted, we had a flight canceled this morning, but we have the freedom. We're staying up here last night because we were going to bolt out on our flight early this morning. But with our business, the way our business is, we have the freedom to do whatever we want to do from wherever we want to do it. And so that, for me, connects with freedom, right? I'm sitting in a conference room at a hotel. Who knows if I'm going to get thrown out or not? Well, at this point, we don't know. But just having that freedom to be able to do what you love wherever you want to do it.
I love that you said that, because it's true. We just thought last week, hey, let's pop down to Florida. Let's for a whole bunch of reasons, right? To take a break because we can. We love Florida. We need to get our mail. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different things that come with that. It's interesting because so many people say, well, when you're your own business, you own your own business, you have a ton of freedom. And often people will equate that to, you don't have to work hard, or you could work 3 hours a day, or you can, just like those kind of connotations. And the interesting thing is we work a lot, we work hard. We put in a great effort into the skill of what we do, as well as the business that we run. And with that, we can do it from anywhere. We can do it from a hotel room. We can do it from Florida. We can do it from Jersey. We can do it from Punta Cana, wherever it is that we happen to be.
But we did not.
No, we did not. That was.
Well, we did a little bit, but not much.
Yeah. And the other thing that is important about the freedom is I equate it to, we get to say yes to what we want to say yes to. We get to say no to what it is that we want to say no to. We have the freedom of living by our values, our creativity, our ideas. Sometimes we're stuck with it. And the other thing is sometimes we have to follow through on the commitments that we make as well. So it's just a really interesting way to look at it. So one is freedom and coaching, or freedom and a business owner. But the other is, what freedom does coaching give you on a personal level, on making an impact level? How is there freedom tied into concepts with coaching?
Jen, I think as people evolve in their coaching practices, also me personally, I think you get more freedom because I think that for us right now, we have a lot more freedom to say no. And granted, we could have said no more in the beginning, but you're doing that grinding thing more, right? It's just like, hey, you want to get out there, you want to make an impact. That's one of the big things for us, right? We want to make an impact, and we also want to, we want to make a living, right? We want to, take our business to the next level, whatever that way is, making more of an impact. For us, making more money. And back then, we probably said yes to more things than we said no to. And now we get to say no if things don't fit. The cool thing about us now, though, is when we say no now, the great part about it is with the group of people that we surround ourselves with now, right? And truthfully, it's a lot of the people that are in the Get Real Coach Leadership Program. We get to say, hey, okay, well, listen, this doesn't work for us, but we have somebody that can help your organization. And we farm out a lot of the things that we don't want to do or that aren't our sweet spots, because that's what it is for us. We want to be in our sweet spot because that gives us a sense of freedom. We don't have to go into that, oh my gosh, we have to create this, we have to do that, we have to do this, because we have it. We did that groundwork, we laid the groundwork, and now we just get to be in what we're in.
I love it. So we have some great comments coming in. So Kathy says she has the freedom to be authentic in her coaching. And I love that. So let's talk about and riff on that for a moment, right? So from a coaching perspective and a coaching style, there are skills that you learn or skills that you don't learn that also exist. There is the ICF core competencies that some of you follow, some of you don't, doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, it's about having the choice and the freedom to say, this is my style. This is how I coach. This is what's important to me. This is what I know that works. I also invite you to have the freedom to say, what don't I know? What else can I learn? How do I get out of my ruts? So it's an interesting way because you don't have to be like someone else, but are you continuing to take the freedom of evolving and being the next best version of yourself?
Yeah, you know what, Jen, I think that that's huge, because if you're not being who you are, it's way too much work. So Kathy, and I'm not a huge fan of the word authentic because sometimes I feel like that sounds fake. But if you have the freedom to be real, right? And hence or get real. And that's part of what this is, right? If you can get real with yourself and be who you are, then that takes so much pressure off. Because if we had to go in and be like the old school corporate and, present in a certain way with 350 different slides and way too much being too scripted, would not work for us. We would never do it. Well, I can speak for Jen. We would never do it because it's not who we are. And it's funny, way back when I had first started coaching, one of the people that I had gone through coach training with, she was really funny, like really, really funny. And she was being so serious with building her business, and she wasn't getting any clients. And it was because she was so off who she was, and she sounded so stiff and so scripted. And okay, if they say this, then I should say this. And if they say that, I should say that. And when she let go of all that BS, completely changed things around for her because she got to be who she was. So if you're funny, be funny.
I love it. That ties in so great with the next comment that is coming in from Montana. Freedom from shoulds that are thought, and free to be your true self through coaching sessions as well as being a coach. I think that ties into exactly what you just said, Karen, right? About the shoulds. I should be this way in order, as opposed to who I really am. So there's a whole bunch of freedom that comes from removing the shoulds to say, what's right for me? How do I want to show up? Being able to coach our clients through what are other people's expectations of themselves versus who they really want to be in the world. True freedom, in my eyes, from a personal development perspective, is the freedom of seeing a possible different perspective, right? So what I mean by that is often clients will come or get coaching, or if you're watching this and saying you're stuck in an area, the reason clients or you are stuck is because of your perspective. The way you're seeing something or thinking something has you in sort of maybe a box that you haven't been able to get out of. So the freedom is, what other perspective could I have? What other possibility is there? Where has my own thinking have me stopped? And that freedom of a new perspective allows the ability to really be able to achieve the things that you want to achieve.
You know what else though too, Jen? Sometimes we're stuck and we don't even, we know we're stuck, but you can't, where I'm going to go steal that old Einstein quote, right? You can't solve a problem with the same kind of energy to create it. So like you're here with your problem and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't see a way out. I can't see a way. Of course you can't, right? Because you're like this. So what needs to happen is that, this is why people hire us, right? Because we help them ditch the blinders. We help them shift that perspective. We help them go from this to, oh shit, I can't figure something out. I can't do it. I don't know where the solution is, to, I wonder what I actually can see right now. And we start to help people get out of their ruts by expanding that perspective. But so often people are like, how do I do it? How do I do it? How do I do it? And you have to figure out, and what we do is we help people we help them find the freedom in their own what. How about that, Jen? You want to write that down? We help them find the freedom in their what. Because if they can't find the freedom in their what, they're never going to find out a how. Right? Because it's like, how do I do it? Well, I don't know is going to be the answer you're going to hear every time, because they haven't created a what that they're bought into enough to be able to change the how.
I love that, Kara. Is this what you said? Find the freedom in their what?
Yes.
I typed it down like you asked. All right.
Take a note for me.
Pardon me?
I said, take a note for me.
Yeah. Hey, Farley, jot this down.
Exactly.
Hey, Jen, grab a pen. All right, so let's go back to a couple of the comments, right? So what the other things that are showing up? Melissa Rose, part of our inner circle, by the way. So glad to see you also here. Freedom to sell my services based on who I am versus who I am supposed to be. That totally ties into the other comment about the shoulds, right? And it's letting go of what we think we're supposed to do versus what we want to do. Sorry, that took a lot of brain power to get that sentence out.
It almost hurt my head.
I know, I had to think way too hard, but you guys get what I'm saying there. Good. And then also we have the freedom means showing up with my values and exploring high and low with clients anywhere that they want to go. And that's the nice thing. That's the beautiful thing about the freedom of a coaching session. It is directed by the client and we lead by following. So they are free to explore wherever it is that they need to go, and we are their guide along the way to bring that perspective shift in and make sure that they are grounded and tethered to what they say they want, but really it's they are having the freedom there.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point though, Jen, right, with that, right? The freedom to get them grounded, because there's freedom in groundedness. And when you can get them grounded so they're not just spinning around like, oh, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go here, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Let's get grounded with what it is that you're really looking to find out or look for, or perspective that needs to shift now, like in this session at this time, instead of being on a boat with no rudder and just spinning around in the water somewhere.
That's great. That made me think of my dream last night. I had a really weird boat dream last night. I won't go into it, but that's what it made me think of, because that's exactly what the dream was like, right? There wasn't a rudder and it was chaos.
Well, that's because we were very close to the water, the Hudson River, which we got to see last night because we went to the chart house for my dad's birthday. It was really fun. But Jen and I jet skied in that water, and I think she's still a little traumatized.
It was crazy. I look at that and thought, freedom to make weird decisions. Okay, so let me ask you guys this. So when it comes to your coaching, right? Your actual coaching, this art and science of coaching, the skill of being in session, the working one-on-one with somebody. What do you wish you had more freedom from? Is it a certain question? Is it a technique? Is it a freedom from hesitation? Is it a freedom from second guessing? What is it? A freedom from trying to get it right? Those kinds of things. So that's what I want to ask. While you're actually coaching, what do you wish you had more freedom from as a coach? So let's find out what people are going to type in there. And then we had are you both in New Jersey? I live here too. Don't know who's writing that because we have the mysterious.
Yeah, I don't like the Facebook user thing. I want to know who people are.
I know. The thing is people have to click on, the truth is you have to click on StreamYard link to be able to show who it is. But we are in New Jersey. We live in both Brick, New Jersey, as well as St. Pete Beach, Florida. So we are back and forth between the two. Okay, so here, Melissa Rose writes in, freedom from the instinct to try to find the answers. Love that. And Melissa, if you had that freedom, what would be different for you as a coach? We do know what might be different for your client, but what do you think would be different for you as a coach if you had a freedom from the instinct to try to find the answers? I got it. Barb is on the call. She's reaching out to Stephen. That's who sent the message. She's from New Jersey as well. So that's great. Barb's all on it.
Barb's down there in Monmouth County.
That's right. All right. Melissa wrote us back. She said, I would be a better coach because I would truly be listening. Love that.
And you know what else, Melissa, too? My guess is that, from what you said here, right? Freedom from the instinct to try to find the answers, because your answers don't matter, right? Because if you're trying to find the answers, say hello to your fix-it mode. And if you're in fix-it mode, then you're not truly listening to the client, like you just said, right? And so if you're really listening, you're in that, oh my gosh, anything can happen here. But if you hear something, you're like, oh my gosh, they should do this, or I can fix this, then it's technically your agenda to get them somewhere. And yeah, that's it. We don't want any of that. And that's it. You can't think and listen at the same time, right? Good. Love that. That's perfect.
Love it. Yep, I think that's perfect. So that's really great on being able to do that. Kathy Walter typed in, and we're ready to hear from some other people as well, is freedom from my idea of what a successful coaching session looks like. Kathy, what would be different for you if you had freedom from that? Go ahead and type that in as well. That would be great. Oh, whoops. I'm going to go back to that in a moment. We'll see. This is great. As Kathy's thinking of that answer, right? The challenge we have is if we think we know what a successful coaching session looks like, then after we hang up the phone, we may second guess ourselves, or we may go through a list of criteria to say, should I feel good about this session? Should I not feel good about this session? Then all of a sudden, our confidence level, our value, the way we perceive things is linked to what we think the outcome could be, which could be completely different than what the client says. The experience would be a win. That would be the difference, right? Is that if she let go of what the idea of a successful coaching session would look like, then at the end of it, people just hang up and what happened was supposed to happen.
Jen, with that, the statement of the freedom of self-doubt and questioning whether I'm adding value, and you brought up the word confidence, right? Confidence and self-doubt don't show up at the same time. So if you're confident in who you are and what you're doing and how you're doing it, is going to quiet that self-doubt voice, because you're like, I got this. And even if you don't hit it out of the park, which is okay, you have the confidence in yourself that, all right, you're gonna land on your feet no matter what. And the thing is the overthinking after the fact is what's going to give you that self-doubt. So it's how to, I guess it probably really is. It's about, if I was more confident in myself at this point, or if I really, truly trusted myself, what would be different? and all that self-doubt stuff would go away.
You know, I gotta tell you guys, sometimes I add value, sometimes I don't. And sometimes you add value and sometimes you don't. And that's just a fact of life, right? So we can live with that sometimes we will and sometimes we won't. Then it could help to relieve the pressure from having to add value. Because the moment you try to force value is the moment people won't find value. Right? So I think that's an interesting way to think about it. In what way is what you're not free from actually not creating what you want to be free from? Did that make sense?
If a train leaves, no, I'm kidding.
Right. I got a truth. I'm hoping that was to that little weird tongue twister I just did.
Do it again.
I can't. But Melissa says, oh, wow, I need to sit with that one. I love that. So I'll try it again. So, right. So we all want freedom from something. And whatever it is that we want freedom from, because we don't have freedom, we're actually getting what we want freedom from.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, good. Good. I love it, Barbara. Staying present, staying in that moment. That's the key thing. Not being attached, being open, being curious. Two things that are running through my head. Not how do I fix this? Not how do I get them to where they want to be? Not how do I add value? But more of, I wonder why they're telling me this. I wonder what's making this a struggle for them. I wonder who they are in relationship to the challenge that they brought to this situation, to the table, to the coaching. If I can go from that place, why are they telling me this? Who are they in relationship to their challenge? And the third one I said, then I'm going to be just fine throughout the session. Because those are the types of curiosities that form my question, as opposed to tell me more about that.
You know what, Jen? It's coach the person, not the issue. Right? Don't coach the thing. Coach the person, and you'll find the thing that's behind the thing.
I love that. Good. Anybody else want to share, what do you want freedom from when it comes to the art and science of your coaching? What is it that you think you're looking to really stop a habit, a tendency, the thoughts that go with it? Good. Heather's totally agreeing with you. It's the person versus the issue. Love
yeah, because I'm telling you guys, as soon as you go into the issue, you're trying to fix it. Right? Or you're going to put a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. And that's, we want to help people get things done, but are you doing transactional coaching or are you doing transformational coaching? And it's funny, Jen and I did a proposal for this company that we do a lot of work for. And one of the, we knew that the person that was, that we were speaking with, that was ultimately going to hire us, that she was really into transformation. She was into long-term changes. And that's what we talked about. We talked about what we do being transformational versus transactional. There's transactional stuff going on out there all the time. Like, okay, do this, right? And people who actually still think time management is about a clock. And if you think that time management is about a clock, it's time, pun intended, to reevaluate what you're doing.
I love it. Heather types in here, she wants freedom from self-doubt that rises now and again, which is great, because the moment we have self-doubt is the moment that we hesitate, we're not as bold, we hold back, we second guess. So that's great. All right, Karen Sullivan, so I have to declare something.
What?
That this hotel we're in has the world's worst lighting. I feel a little green on my screen. You're a little dark on your screen. But the reality is we actually thought we'd be in Florida by now with the bright sunshine happening.
We did. And this hotel, Jen, is where we met.
We did. We met. So let's even tell that little quick thing and then we'll bail.
Go ahead.
We met in this hotel in March of 2012. Right? And we were at a event that we were both volunteering. And we met that weekend, and voila, here we are years later of connection, love, marriage, happiness, our business, and apparently Facebook Lives. Karen, did you ever think when we met in that ballroom downstairs in 2012 that you would be doing Facebook Lives with me?
No, no, absolutely no.
I love it. So, as Melissa Rose says, well, then screw the lighting. Exactly. Lighting doesn't matter. We actually come to this hotel quite often on special anniversary dates, all sorts of stuff, and it's very, very special to us. And Karen, what were you going to say? And then I do have someone ask us a direct question. So,
Well, that's what I'm going to answer. What keeps you more present in your coaching? And I think what it is it's really just being there, right? Getting rid of the noise, getting rid of the distractions. I'll tell you guys, one of the best places for me to coach is in a car. I love coaching in a car because there's no other distractions. Like being in a car is so comfortable for me, and it gets me like in my space. And I'm creative and I just see things, and it's just really true that just being in what I'm in when I'm in it. And hello, right? This on being on do not disturb, not not having other things in the background. And I'm not a huge fan of Zoom coaching at all. Like I would rather be on a phone and walk around the house or be in a car, and that allows that for me keeps me more present.
yeah, and I'll answer too. Heather wants to know if you're driving or parked. She's driving. She is a professional driver, right? So her whole life has been about driving and safety and all that kind of stuff, and is very focused. And so anyway, yes, yeah, that's just where her creativity. If I ever want to get Karen to brainstorm, I'm like, hey, let's go for a drive, and then I'll just ask her questions while she's driving, and I'll take notes. It's one of the ways that she is able to click into a different kind of flow, which is interesting. I, on the other hand, would never really want to coach while driving.
I would not want to be a passenger while Jen was coaching while driving.
Yeah. But what helps me stay present, to be honest, is to change the room. So my office is my office is my office. I am in there a lot. I actually will go to the living room or out on the deck or to a different spot. I'll have my notebook and a pen. I take very little notes, but my notebook and a pen. I prefer a phone over Zoom, and I can't have any kind of technology around me. That's how I am present.
And I got to tell you guys, that's for coaching. When we're doing proposals and when we're doing meetings, we're picking Zoom every time. So it's completely different.
Yeah, we'll talk about that at some point, about why we do that, what the purpose is, and all that good stuff. But I think this was a really good topic. So a couple of things I want to say. These Facebook Lives, we're glad you're here and participating. We will be back next Friday at noon, and we have the calendar kind of figured out that we'll be publishing what the different topics are. But thank you all for being either on my page or in the Facebook group. I will post the link to the Facebook group on my page if anybody wants to join and be a part of the community. All right. Anything else, Kara?
Don't forget when we're going to have an Oh Shit series.
Oh, yeah. We got a lot coming up. Big announcement coming on July 20th. And we have a lot of fun things and a lot of learning coming your way. So on that note, I think we're out of here, Kara.
And I didn't get thrown out. Bye, everybody.